diving into this whole TikTok thing, and you've sent me a ton of stuff about the possible ban articles, videos, a whole podcast even.
Yeah.
Honestly. I'm a little nervous. Like, what does this mean for music, for music lovers?
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
It's TikTok wasn't made for music.
Right.
But it's gotten so tied up in the whole industry.
It's crazy how much it's changed, right?
Yeah.
Like, I remember when it was all just dances and lip syncing.
Yeah.
Now it's like launching careers, new music, everything. But before we even get into the ban, can you help me understand just how big of a deal is it really in music?
Well, it's not just about how many people use it. I mean, over 1 billion.
A lot of people.
Yeah, 1 billion users. But 75% of them, they say they discover new music on TikTok. That's huge.
Okay, so like a global talent show, basically.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
24/7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what makes it different? Like Instagram, YouTube, they've got algorithms too, right?
They do. But TikToks just seems to be really good at finding those niche audiences, especially for artists who are just starting out.
So for someone who's independent, it's like this free, super powerful promo tool.
Exactly.
They could reach millions without even needing a record label.
Yeah, it's changed the game. And not even just exposure. There's real money there too. Like some of the stuff you sent goes into the financial side. It's pretty wild.
Okay, so in one of the articles, there's this perfume entrepreneur, right? Makata Gibbons.
Mm-hmm.
She said she makes like $50,000 a month on TikTok.
Yeah.
If it goes away, that's gone.
Yeah.
Like overnight.
It is, yeah. And for musicians, it's not even just about the creator fund, or the brands.
Yeah.
It's that whole discovery thing that you lose, that direct connection to fans.
Right. That's what worries me. Like, what happens to all those amazing artists we haven't even heard of yet?
Yeah, it would be rough, no doubt. But we've got a lot to unpack here. One thing you sent was that Vox video, right? It explained the whole TikTok to Spotify pipeline. They used this artist, JVKE.
JVKE, yeah. I remember that video. He went from 0 to 8 million Spotify listeners.
Yes, just from TikTok.
Wasn't it something with his mom making a beat?
Yes. He started by mashing up popular songs,
right.
adding his own vocals and stuff.
Okay.
His brother said, hey, let's film it through the TikTok app specifically.
Wow.
And that made all the difference.
It's crazy how one little choice can change everything.
Yeah.
So these tiny clips go viral, and then what?
Well, you hear a 15-second clip, you want the whole song.
Yeah.
So everyone's going to Spotify to hear more JVKE, and boom, this nobody artist is getting millions of streams.
Right.
He's on Spotify playlists, huge following.
The playlists, I know those are a big deal, but how do those play into all this?
So streaming numbers. Super important nowadays.
Huh?
More streams you get, the more Spotify's algorithm notices you.
Oh.
Then you land on those popular playlists like New Music Friday.
Millions of followers.
So that's the jackpot for a musician.
Pretty much. You're exposed to this massive audience.
Yeah.
More streams.
Right.
Top of the charts, potentially. And that's where things get really interesting.
Okay. I'm hooked. What happens then?
Record labels come knocking.
Ah, okay.
They see someone blowing up on TikTok, driving those streams.
Mm-hmm.
They want in. The Vox video even had headlines like, artist with viral TikTok song inks $1 million record deal.
$1 million deals. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
But if they're already doing so well on their own, why even need a label?
That's a good question. And there's a lot more to it than it seems.
Okay, wait. So you're saying these deals aren't all they're cracked up to be. Ooh, this is getting good.
Yeah.
We're going to have to dive into that in part 2 of this deep dive.
Yeah, those deals, they aren't always a dream come true.
Right.
The music industry, it's a business. Yeah. Lots of fine print.
Okay, so what's the catch with these deals?
Well, the Vox video talked about this thing called an advance.
It's basically the label gives the artist a bunch of money up front.
Sounds good so far.
It is, but then the artist has to pay it back.
Yeah.
And they only get a small percentage of the royalties from their music until then.
Wait, royalties? What are those again?
So it's like a fee that's paid to whoever owns the song.
Okay.
Every time it's played or sold.
Oh, okay.
So you stream a song on Spotify.
Yeah.
Tiny bit goes to the songwriter, the artist.
Okay, I get it. So if they get $1 million advance, they have to make way more than that just to break even.
Exactly. And usually their cut of the royalties is only 15% until they've paid it all back.
Wow. Even if your song is a huge hit,
yeah,
it could be a long time before you actually see any real profit.
It's true.
That's kind of a bummer.
Yeah. But the cool thing is TikTok is shaking things up.
How so?
Well, an artist can build this giant following online,
Right.
prove people love their music, get millions of streams, all without a label.
Right.
So when they do finally talk to a label, they've got way more power than artists used to.
So labels have to, like, offer better deals to compete.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Instead of the old contracts where the artist barely gets anything,
Yeah.
we're seeing more 50-50 splits.
Wow.
Or even licensing deals where the artist keeps owning their music.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So TikTok is basically helping artists take control of their own careers.
It's giving them more options, that's for sure.
Didn't we read about this one artist, Tom Rosenthal? Edith Whiskers, I think he goes by.
Yeah, I remember him.
He turned down, like, all these major labels.
He did. He went viral on TikTok with a cover of that song Home.
Right, right.
And then he decided, you know what? I'm going to start my own record company.
Wow.
He wanted a system that's fairer for artists.
That's so cool. It's not just about getting the big deal.
Yeah, no, not at all.
It's about, like, finding what works for you.
Exactly. It's a lot of work, too. Like,
Yeah.
constantly making content, keeping up with fans.
Oh.
The algorithms change all the time.
Vox Video talked about that, right?
Yeah.
Artists have to post so much more now to, like, stay relevant.
Yeah, it used to be a few times a week was enough.
Yeah.
Now it's a few times a day. Huge difference.
It's a lot.
Makes you wonder if it's even sustainable. Can they keep up without burning out?
That's a really good point. But even with all that, there's no denying that TikTok is good for artists,
Yeah.
especially for independent ones.
It is.
They have this platform to reach everyone,
Humble audience, yep.
connect with fans directly, make money.
All without needing a label.
It's like it's making the music industry more fair.
It really is. And it's not just for, like, one type of music either.
Right.
The Vox video showed all kinds of artists. Hip-hop,
Yeah, I remember.
pop, even classical.
Yeah.
All finding success on TikTok.
It's pretty cool to see that mix.
It is.
And it's not just individual artists either.
No, it's changing how labels work, too.
How so?
They're always looking for the next big thing. But they can't just sit back and wait anymore. They have to be on TikTok, engaging,
Right.
using the data to find potential stars.
So TikTok is like making the whole industry evolve.
I think so. Changing how we create,
Yeah.
share, and listen to music.
It's forcing everyone to, like, rethink how they do things.
Absolutely. Including us.
Us listeners.
What do you mean?
Well, we're not just passively listening anymore.
Right.
It's not just the radio
Right.
or whatever the labels put out.
Okay.
We're on TikTok finding new stuff, sharing it.
Yeah, that's true.
We're part of the process now.
It's like a giant music ecosystem.
Yeah.
Even if TikTok goes away, that won't disappear. That feeling of discovery.
Definitely not.
So what does all this mean for the future of music?
Who knows?
Yeah.
But it's going to be interesting, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous, but also kind of excited to see what happens.
I think that's the right attitude.
Yeah.
We're in a time of huge change, and music is at the heart of it.
Okay, so for everyone listening, keep your ears open,
Yeah.
stay curious, and be ready for anything.
The future of music is being shaped right now, and we're all a part of it.
That's a good way to put it. This has been a really thought-provoking deep dive.
It really has. I'm going to be thinking about this for a while.
Me too. Who knows, maybe the answer to what's next for music is already on TikTok?
Right.
Or maybe it's something totally new that we haven't even imagined yet.
Okay, so the big question. What happens to music if TikTok is gone?
It is a big one, yeah. And I don't think anyone knows for sure.
True, but we can look at what TikTok has already changed.
Right.
Like in the Vox video, they talked about touring.
Mm-hmm.
It's different now, isn't it?
Yeah, touring used to be how you built a fan base. Then maybe you got a record deal. Now it's like the opposite. You get huge online, then you tour.
Yeah, they use JVKE as an example.
Yeah, selling out those venues.
Fans singing every word, like they knew him already.
It's amazing, right? TikTok built that.
But if it goes away, can artists still do that? Connect with fans that way?
That's a good question. TikTok is different, you know?
Yeah.
There's a closeness there that you don't really get on other platforms.
So even if they move to Instagram or YouTube, whatever's next,
Yeah.
it might not be the same.
It might not. And that affects everything.
Right. Merch sales, tickets,
The whole idea of like loyalty to an artist.
that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
The Vox video also talked about how global this all is.
Mm-hmm. It's not just the US charts.
TikTok's changing music everywhere.
Global phenomenon for sure.
So even if it's banned here,
Yeah,
it could still be huge in other countries.
exactly. The music keeps flowing.
Right. It crosses borders.
TikTok gets that. It could be a weird situation though.
How so?
Well, Some artists might have to choose, you know.
Oh, like focus on one market or the other.
Yeah, if their main audience is somewhere, TikTok is still allowed.
This whole thing makes you realize technology is shaping music so much.
It is, yeah. It's not just the songs anymore.
Right. It's how we find them, how they're made.
The whole experience has changed.
And TikTok, it's like it sped that change up so fast.
It really did. Everyone had to adapt.
Labels, artists,
Even us.
us as listeners.
Yeah, we're not just sitting back anymore.
Right.
We're not just taking what we're given.
Right.
We're part of finding new music now, you know?
Yeah, it's true. We're scrolling, sharing, talking about it.
Exactly. We're more involved.
It's like that music ecosystem you mentioned before.
Yeah, and that doesn't go away, even if TikTok does.
That desire to find new stuff.
To be part of it.
So the big question remains, what's next for music?
I don't know. It's exciting, though, isn't it?
It is. I'm nervous, but excited to see what happens.
It's a time of huge change, and music is right in the middle of it.
Music's always been about change, hasn't it?
I think so, yeah. It reflects who we are, how we feel.
Well, I've learned a lot from this deep dive.
Me too.
It's definitely given me a lot to think about.
Me too. And who knows, maybe the next big thing in music is already out there.
Yeah, maybe it's on TikTok right now
Or maybe it's something completely different.
that we can't even imagine yet.
Exactly.
Well, thanks for all the insights.
Of
This
course.
has been a great conversation.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. It'll be interesting to see how it all unfolds, that's for sure.
It will. To all our listeners out there, stay curious and keep those ears open.
You never know what you'll discover.